Greetings fellow Earthlings and welcome to this tiny garage. Subscriber Lester Pulsford, hello Lester, he mentioned that when we did the water test last week that's one thing, but really a gasoline test is the way to go. And as you can see, Lester, it totally passed the gasoline test. Now another thing from last week is this box from FCP EURO. Let's have a quick look. So it came too late for us to make an episode out of it, but in here we have a low temp thermostat, which is a Borg-Warner. That one, basically everyone recommended that you get the low temperature one of those, so I did. When we install that, we'll talk about that in more detail. I also got bolts for those guys, but also extra bolts, so I know what sizes are which and what the part number is. There's like 3 or 4 different bolts really in this entire engine, and if I knew those part numbers, that would be helpful. Anyway, that. And then the other thing that's in here is this, which is a Pierburg Composite Impeller water pump. And so, come on buddy, packaging. So this is not the Porsche model, but the thing with FCP EURO is if you order from them, everything gets a lifetime warranty, meaning that for as long as I own this car, if this water pump ever breaks, you just send it back to them and they will send you a new one for forever. And so that's the FCP EURO thing. Anyway, last week Valhalla had mentioned, after I commented about cleaning up the cylinder head with a steel wheel of some sort, he said yes, he'd like to see that. And so I bought some steel wheels from a Dremel, and let's see how that works out.
The exhaust ports were really the main source of issue. You can see all of those black carbon deposits all over the place, really stuck on well. This has already been through a professional cleaning machine. I started off by taping off all the orifices to stop the debris from going astray. When I was talking about steel wheels earlier, what I was trying to say was wire wheels like this one. But in actual fact, not like this one. The brass just polished the dirt. We need a stainless steel one. That stainless steel wire wheel is attached to the flex shaft of my Dremel tool. Have you heard of the Mohs hardness scale? Yeah, me neither. But it means something here because aluminum and brass are about 3 on the Mohs hardness scale, whereas the stainless steel is about a 6. Therefore, it's much better at scratching or removing the debris from the aluminum. I need more RPM. 2 was not doing it. 8 really seemed to make it happen. You'll notice here that we have 4 holes. 2 larger intake ports and 2 slightly smaller exhaust ports. That's a total of 4 ports. The mathematicians among you will know that thanks to our friend pi, 2 slightly smaller circles are able to move a larger volume than 1 bigger circle. Therefore, 4 ports are better than 2. While Ferrari certainly were not the first to invent the multi-valve engine, it was a big deal in 1982 when they introduced the 4-valve or Quattrovalvole engine in the 3-litre 8-cylinder Ferrari 308. Of course, not to be outdone, Lamborghini added 4 valves to the Lamborghini Countach LP 5000 Quattrovalvole in 1985. So when did the Porsche 911 Carrera achieve the lofty goal of 4 valves per cylinder, I hear you ask? How about the Porsche 964 Carrera that was fresh and new in 1989? Well, no, that had 2 valves per cylinder, 1 in and 1 out. What about the drop-dead gorgeous 993 Carrera introduced in 1993? As you can see there still, 2 valves, 1 in, 1 out. It turns out that the first Porsche 911 Carrera with 4 valves per cylinder was everybody's favorite, the Porsche 996 in 1998. While this may look like I'm polishing and porting this head, to actually do that work, I would need something more like this, which is a tungsten carbide Burr. Now, if we take a look at our Mohs hardness scale once again, we know that the aluminum head is about a 3, our stainless steel wheel is about a 6, but tungsten carbide is a solid 9, close to diamond. And that's the kind of hardness you would need to really remove material from this aluminum head. In reality then, all I'm doing is cleaning. So let's take a look at the before and after. While I'm not going to claim any huge jump in horsepower here, at least we are pretty close to how this engine came out of the factory. Hold on, what's the dog doing? Oh yeah, subscribe now. Delta says thank you. Air compressor installation. Now don't get too excited. The last battery powered one that we used to fill this bubble, it went up in some magic blue smoke, so I got this at the local parts store. It mounts on the wall, it plugs into the wall. It seemed perfect. It has this wall bracket, of course, and a very low quality tire inflation gauge. Also this box of stuff. That is a cap for your valve, and it's really crappy quality. And a very cheap tire depth gauge, but anyway, it's there. And a box. Connecting the green hose to the air bubble then, and connecting the compressor to the wall. I noticed that I had some air coming from somewhere, using the Windex to find a leak. And then tightening that up, more or less got rid of that leak. Using this compressor, I was able to get over 70 psi, which really is the most I'm able to ever get reliably into this air bubble. But look at this, I feel cheated. For storage only, do not use the inflator while secured to the wall mount. That's the whole reason I've flipping bought it. Anyway, here we go, turn it on. I mounted it in a cupboard to keep the noise down, on the wall because I don't care. And then that hose kind of got hot in normal operation, so I put that fan connected to the same switch. And then that hose comes out up to the air bubble on the wall, saving space, then comes down that yellow hose over to my workbench, and that's it. And so about 5 or 10 minutes to charge that up, and you get quite a few minutes of use out of it. Next up then, we're going to use that same stainless steel wheel on the Dremel to clean the exhaust flange. Again, this cylinder head has been through a professional cleaning machine, and still it has these really hard-on deposits. I thought I'd try the stainless steel wheel on them, and it was a miracle worker. It removes the gasket material and whatever crud was on there very easily, but doesn't really remove any of the aluminum. It leaves all of the material and the little checker pattern that's on it from the milling machine all in place. And so it really changed my life as far as removing gasket material and all those carbon deposits. Valves and springs, we're getting close. Okay, so we've got everything nice and clean, and then I decided to start using this two-brush technique. So here we go, we're going to spray some brake cleaner down our valve guide, and then doing both of them against each other came up with fantastic results, cleaning those valve guides and then blowing it out with our new air compressor. And then also you want to get some oil down your valve guides. I bought a new oil holding device thingy. It's like something from a cartoon. It has brass giblets inside, and I'm just putting regular motor oil in that because I've got a lot of oiling to do. All right, quick reminder, you want to put your grinding paste on, mix that around a little bit, and then that same formula from last week, 2 minutes with the electric drill, 3 minutes by hand, gives the same results as about 10 minutes by hand. Lift up the lapping tool every few seconds like I'm doing there. Since last week, I also got these Craftsman socket adapters for my Yogi's Garage electric screwdriver. And that allows me to bayonet on these lapping tool suckers. And that saves some time as well. I also got one of these other tools that fits the bayonet and chop the end off with an angle grinder. And use that so that I have both sizes readily bayonetable. And that was life-changing. It made it sort of fun and quick. Then, of course, this is the water test from last week. You can use gasoline if you want. This bank had no leaks at all. You don't have to light the gasoline. In fact, you're not supposed to. Once you're all lapped, you can flip the cylinder head over. And it's time to put in the valve stem seals. This is a valve stem seal. It's rubber that's reinforced by metal at the bottom and this cute little spring. Those go on each of those valve guides. This is the installation tool that comes in the box. It goes around that valve stem seal. But this is another one that comes with it, and I like this one because it seems to center the valve seal really well. And so what I thought I would do is try to get the best of both worlds. I'm taking a valve here, an exhaust valve, lubing that up with my new oil can, and then putting that up through and using that to centralize the valve seal, and then use the other tool to drive it home. And have a listen. Those last two have that solid ring to them. That's how you know it's driven home. So repeat that 12 more times and you have that head ready for the valve spring guides. That's a valve spring guide. There they are. Those are the old ones. I didn't replace them. They seem fine. They're cleaned up. Rookie error. I didn't know these existed and left them on the head when I gave them to the machine shop for cleaning. One of them went missing and I had to buy a new one. Valve spring installation. This is almost the end here. Just to make sure I don't get confused, I am always just writing on the side exactly what cylinder I'm on, what's left, what's right. We can throw some oil in there for the valve coming up from the bottom, throw the spring on, throw the retainer on top, and then we use the spring compressor tool, and this time I'm using the borescope to help me see the bottom, and that really was very helpful. And you compress that spring and take this, which is the lock or the keeper. There's many names for those little devices. You want the V shape to be towards the bottom, and then you put it on one side of those little grooves. This is my method at least. I don't really know how you do it. And then I rotate that around. It sort of sticks on with the adhesion from the oil surface. Then put the other one on, and then as you let that retainer off, it holds them in place, and that's it. So then repeat that, in this head at least, 12 times, and that's it. You've got your head all completely assembled. I do hope it works, but it certainly looks a lot better than the swampy mess that this started out as.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time. Okay, you kidding me? Come on, go you bastard. Here we go. Greetings fellow Earthlings and welcome to this tiny garage.